Now, as much as I am happy that the World Test Champions are finally on the board in this WTC, there's a part of me that's quite upset. There's a part of me that's actually livid. I'm sad. It's a roller coaster of emotions. Why? Because it's only 2 test matches. What is this thing with this 2 test match series? It makes no sense, especially in conditions like this. And then you get people who say, oh yeah, but 2 test match series, it's easy. It's not. Okay, you have to adapt overnight. There's no time to get into the swing of things. You need to get into the swing of things now. And if cricket is about adapting, then this South African team gets an A+. But no, seriously, guys, it's a huge issue for me because people send me all kinds of messages. There's people all over Australia, England, probably more so England, that's saying that, actually no, a lot of Australians said this as well, ex-cricket players, that South Africa, we don't care about test cricket. Do those guys look like guys who don't care about test cricket? Like guys who, they don't want to play test cricket. What about the World Test Championship final? Did we look like guys who don't want to play test cricket? No. Then there's this scenario of, money. That's something they bring up. I've been to 93% of Newlands test matches over the last 25 years. The only time I've not been to one was when I was physically not in the country. Okay, and it's always packed. It's always full. I thought the crowds here in Pakistan, I thought they were pretty good. Do people not watch this on TV? Because I thought it was an absolutely riveting series. I thought the test matches were very, very competitive. But so money, it doesn't make or bring in enough money. What about South Africa versus India? Well, that sounds very profitable, doesn't it? The World Test Champions of the last cycle, the world champs in this format versus India, the biggest cricket nation in the world. Does that not sound incredibly profitable? Only 2 test matches. So make it make sense, because I don't understand what the hell is going on. I've been doing this for over a year now. I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. I am nowhere closer to answering this question for you. But then there's this other thought, right? Why would India play another 4-5 test match series? I mean, they just played one against England. 6 months before that, they played one against Australia. Is there even time for us in this schedule that includes red ball cricket, white ball cricket to play 5 test match series against the big 3? I don't think there is. But now the big 3 will always come and bark and say, yeah, but you guys, you never play against Australia or England. Where? Find me a time in the schedule where we can play a 5 test match series, and I promise you, my boys won't just be on a plane. They'll be on a freaking spaceship to get there in a jet. So I just don't see how it's possible, and it's really, really sad how 3 teams are kind of taking over this sport. And I'm not saying it's entirely their fault. I'm saying that, yes, we need to look at ourselves as well. Pakistan, South Africa, why can't we play each other in 4-5 test match series? But something just isn't quite right for me. And I do think South Africa is turning into a real competitive team, but we're just not playing enough test match cricket. And I met 2 lovely actually a couple of Australians, their sons travelled in South Africa and played high school cricket. They're feeling the same way. They also want us to play more test cricket. But onto this series, speaking about adapting, one of my biggest worries for South Africa was how we were going to bat against spin. I know we've got quality spinners, Harmer, one of the most experienced spinners in the world. Okay, then you've got Keshav Maharaj. This guy, he's a world number 1 spinner. Okay, and Muthusamy, incredibly talented. Also another left arm spinner, which I love for South Africa. And then Subrian, 4 quality spinners. Markram didn't even have to really bowl. So I always knew that for us, when it comes to the spinning in these types of conditions, we're really going to thrive. And I just thought that Simon Harmer just got better and better and better as this test match went on. For a right arm spinner, off spinner, to be that effective against right-handed batters, that is a serious damn weapon. And he was just consistent in that perfect line and length. A little bit of variations here with some pace, maybe a little bit of length here and there. Absolutely phenomenal. His spell, I thought this morning, what is there to say about Maharaj? His innings there with Muthusamy, absolutely phenomenal. Muthusamy, guys, the batting of South Africa, what I like the most is that each and every single one of them had their own individual plans, right? They were organized at the crease, but they all batted in their own different way. You had Markram, who's a power, straight down the ground kind of spinner. Now he got a bit of confidence there, chasing 70. A couple of lovely, powerful sweeps there. But Mutusami, you know, like a knife cutting through butter. His sweep shots, absolutely phenomenal. And then Rickleton, De Zorzi, you know, grafters, played so well, playing the long fight, but also incredible reverse sweeps and, you know, traditional sweeps. And it's something that I've just not really seen that often. So for me to have seen the work that these guys put in and to be able to put that work into play in an international test match, we don't play that many test matches. Every single test match we kind of have to win. So again, when England complains about, yeah, but they don't play as many test matches as we do. Hello, that just means we can't actually lose. And we've got a really tough cycle. So I do think that this was really good for us. Look, we've got the tough end of the stick. We start in the bloody subcontinent. Who wants to start off your World Test Championship in the freaking subcontinent when we haven't even, I think in the last 10 years, we've only won 2 or 3 test matches in the subcontinent. So I just think the magnitude of what it is that we've done today, it might just not quite, I don't know if people quite get it. But yes, and Stubbs, people will speak a lot about his innings and say, yeah, but you can't just stand there. Look, don't tell me that Pujara was not an important cog in the wheel of India's success when they were that #1 test team in the world. Don't tell me that, okay? If you're a teammate and you're seeing your guy, one of your mates, your teammates, fighting down there in the middle, okay, in the arena, you're seeing him fighting, it has to inspire you to want to do this as well for the team. So I thought Tristan Stubbs' innings, you know, and again, I love how he just stuck to what it is that he wanted to do. And also a fantastic sweeper of the ball, but he decided that if he's not going to feel that confident about it, his wicket was the most important thing. And so I loved that for him. I loved it. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for us playing in spinning conditions. I thought Pakistan, guys, I thought you batted really well, but then what happens in that second innings? I just feel like you panic a bit. And maybe it's also about player roles, where I feel like a lot of your players kind of take on the same role, where maybe you just kind of, I don't know, I always just kind of expected a Babar Azam to be the guy that stays there. He almost did. He almost did make us sweat a little bit there. But what are the roles of your batters? Because I do, and for example, South Africa, I didn't even speak about Brevis. When he was timid in that first innings, okay, he was kind of like, you know, it's not going to work. His role is to attack. No matter what the situation of the game, you go out there and express yourself. That is his role. There's even some talks about Salman Ali Agar batting, you know, further up the order. I don't mind that for him. I think he was one of the better guys when it came to pace and spin. So still not quite, I think, complete for Pakistan, but a lot better. But what are your roles? You know, what are the batters' roles? What kind of roles would you like to see them perform as Pakistani fans? Bowlers, I mean, what can you say about your spin twins? I just felt like South Africa started getting into the game more. Like I said, when batters bat differently, let's say both batters just sweep the ball all the time, you can kind of devise a plan against that. But if the one batter kind of plays, you know, a little bit more down the ground, or he's a little bit more on the back foot, and the other guy's maybe a little bit more on the front foot, he's a sweeper, left, right hand, that makes it a lot tougher for the spinner. So I thought that also sending in Mutusami a bit earlier as well, just to have that left hand, right hand combination, all of these things, it plays on bowlers' minds. I thought Kagiso Rabada, the all-rounder, fantastic. You know, guys, he opened, him and Mutusami, I'm almost 100% sure about this info. I know Mutusami is correct. I'm pretty sure I read this about Rabada. Both of them opened the batting in their younger years. They're both still very young, but both of them were actually opening batters. And that's the other thing for me with Pakistan is you need to find a way for that lower order, those bowlers, to make some runs. Because even if you go to Sina, it's going to be important. You look at the Cummins and the Starks, you know, how they get those runs at the back end for Australia. You're going to have to find a way for these guys to make runs, because in the end, that was the difference in the match, was the South Africa's lower order versus your lower order. But I really enjoyed the series, and I'm really sad that we're not going to get another one. You know, I would have liked to have won a toss, which we didn't. Onto the white ball series now. It seems as though we're going to be resting a couple of players, which makes sense. I don't think we'll be in the T20. We're resting a couple of players. We've got Temba Bavuma playing India A in India, which I think is very, very good for us, because obviously Temba comes in. But now who goes out for Temba coming in? That, my friends, is the big question now. Because that was, as one of your commentators, Pakistan, I'm not sure who, I think it was Ramiz Raja, I'm not sure, a Herculean innings by Tristan Stubbs. But I'm happy. I just wish that there was more. What were your thoughts on this enthralling test match?